I'm making plays. I'm making hits. I'm making hits. I'm making plays. I'm making plays. I never miss. Haters gon' hate. Yeah, they gon' hate. But look at the clips. Just look at the clips. At the end of the day, I was made for this shit. Dog, I was made for this shit. Nothing but green grass in my view. Hit him for 50 yards up the middle. All of my rushes are ready to move. Tell your quarterback, head on the swivel. Came all this way, so we hungry as hell. If we ain't winning, we ain't leaving the field. Overtime, now the shit getting real. Double overtime, shoot for the kill. I put it all on my shoulders. Give 100 till it's over. All of this ice in my veins. Tell me, how could there be anyone colder?
Woo!
Yo,
What's good?
what's going on?
Surprise!
All right. Technical difficulties early on. My bad, y'all.
It's okay. It's DG's first time running the ship here, so
Yeah.
Dom is not with us tonight because he's got a little baby.
Yeah. We got a new addition to the Chiefs Kingdom.
Yes,
New
sir.
addition. Dang, I should have pulled it up, but anyway.
We got time.
Yeah, we'll pull it up in a little bit. But man, everybody, welcome back to the Arrowhead PM podcast, man. I'm your host for this time being. 3PDG in the building. We got my man Casey Ross. My guy Corey is in the building tonight too, as well as Ethan, the Ross enthusiast, is in the building tonight. The NFL season is upon us, y'all. We T minus 24 some-ish hours till kickoff tomorrow. Chiefs take the field against the Ravens. And
23 hours, 50 minutes.
yeah, try to chase history, man. Chasing history, a three-peat is on the line. How you guys feeling tonight?
Busy. I'm doing a draft while I'm doing the show. So
Right. Yeah, everybody's getting those last-minute fantasy drafts done and everything. Oh, yeah. If Chiefs Kingdom, if you don't know, we are powered by Chiefs Kingdom. We are on Spotify, Apple Music. Where else are we on?
Spotify, Apple, Facebook.
Anywhere you can find podcasts,
Correct.
we are on it right now.
Yep.
Find us on X at Arrowhead PAM and PM. Follow us there. Follow us all on our own individual Twitters as well for all updates, information. It's Arrowhead AM PM related, man. But yeah, Chiefs Ravens, man, they take the field tomorrow. 7:20ish on the clock. Man, first game of the season. NFL season predictions. We got a lot, to do on this show tonight, guys. I think where I wanted to start it early on was I wanted to kind of take you guys back into a time machine and take you back to 2017. The Chiefs are on the clock. They're about to pick with the 10th pick. They've traded with Buffalo all the way up to the 10th pick. My question to y'all is, did you at that point imagine or have ever imagined that the Chiefs would be on the brink of making history to be one of the first teams ever in the league to three-peat at that point in time in drafting Patrick Mahomes?
No, I mean, no way in hell I ever thought we'd be at this point in Chiefs football. So, hey, I mean, that's a pretty simple answer there. Is just no. Like I mean, growing up a Chiefs fan, living through disappointment, year after year, to be sitting here looking at an opportunity to, go out and win 3 straight, like, no, never, not even wildest dream that we'd get here. So
Nope.
Right, Corey, you're sitting on the couch probably watching the draft at that point in time. I know you were thinking we were trading up for a linebacker. I'm almost sure. I'm almost sure you were thinking we were trading up for a linebacker.
No, honestly, I thought we were going after Deshaun Watson. I mean,
Right.
I like Mahomes out of the draft too,
Mhm.
but everyone talks so negative about him that it kind of got in my head, and I was like, yeah, he's got these flaws, he's got footwork issues, but that's it. I mean, I was excited though. I mean, it's been how long since the Chiefs have got a first round QB? What was it Blackledge? Was that the last one?
No,
Oh, yeah.
So,
Brody Croyle.
He wasn't first round, was he?
Oh, he wasn't. No, he was what round was he? Third?
Think maybe, I don't know. I know he wasn't first round
Yeah,
though.
no, he wasn't first round.
Yeah,
I'm not sure the question.
but Brody Coyle. Oh my god.
Brody Croyle. Hey, I was hyped for Brody Croyle. I was like, yeah, we got a quarterback now, baby. Here we go.
Oh man, this is
That
like,
was
it was a QB purgatory.
that's how
We're
you know
excited about Brody Croyle.
bro. We've lived through Thigpen, Brody Croyle, Matt Castle,
Elvis Gerback.
Elvis Gerback, which never should have came into that playoff game.
Right.
Gannon, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
The reason I asked this is because I was driving home today, and I was thinking, I was like, man, when I was a kid, I would have never imagined that the Chiefs would be at this point in their franchise where they would have won back-to-back Super Bowls and be chasing for a third one in a
Never.
in a 3-year span. Like, you would have told me that when I was a 12-year-old kid, I definitely would have called you nuts back then. But it's just great that we are in a great Chiefs era at this point. Um, it's amazing, man. The ride continues tomorrow. We'll see how far they can go when they step on the field tomorrow. So, with that being said, man, let's talk about the season, man. NFL season predictions. I know everybody usually around this time of year is giving who they think is going to be the MVP, the defensive rookie of the year, the defensive player of the year. People are talking division winners. So that's what we're going to bring to you guys tonight. We're going to talk a little bit through our division, some of our picks, how we feel going into this season, and hopefully we get to see some of you guys' picks on Twitter as well too. So drop some comments and on the post and tag us and some of your guys' picks as well too.
Yeah,
Ethan,
comments too. And if you guys are watching, get in the comments too. Let us know if you think we're wrong or if you think we're right.
So you guys want to do this division by division, or you want to just give your list and go for it?
Man of the hour, new daddy.
All right. What up, Dom? Congratulations to Dom, man. New baby. Let's just start with each division. We'll go AFC North first. Who you guys have winning the AFC North this year?
I got the Bengals.
Okay. Is there a reason why I'm behind that?
Yeah, so I mean, just coming off last year, they were fighting for a playoff spot up until really, they faced us, and that was with the backup quarterback. We've seen what the Bengals are healthy. This year with their additions to that O line, I think that O line obviously is something that's kind of hindered them the past couple seasons. I just. Burrow coming back from the injury, I know it isn't a popular opinion or a favorite opinion in Chiefs Kingdom, but kind of a little preview of what my predictions are. I see Burrow winning MVP, and so I just think Jamar Chase, he's going to be ready to go. Whether he gets paid or not, he's trying to earn money. And so I think with him, T. Higgins is another one that's fighting for a contract, whether it's with the Bengals again or whoever. I just think that's one of the, elite wide receiver cores in the league. And so that's kind of why I've pictured the Bengals winning it again. Another thing too with the North is, you never see a team really. Well, they don't repeat, division wins. So it's going to be somebody different from Baltimore, I think. So
Right. You so you don't have any concerns with their defense or the guys that they lost, losing Reader or anything like that?
So with Lou, he's always been one of the better defense coordinators in the league. I don't, it's like us losing Snead. It's a big loss, but I trust the defense coordinator to go out there and, game plan against these guys. And so, that's one of the things in game adjustments with them. Their defense has always been really good. So I get the concerns with their injuries or, with their guys leaving and stuff like that. But I mean, it's the Bengals. They're one of the top teams, no matter how you slice it. We hate to admit it, we hate to say it, but they are. They're the Chiefs' probably biggest rival at this moment. So, and just because they've shown that they can beat the Chiefs.
Right. Ross, what about you? Who you got winning the AFC North?
I got the Ravens. I'm not completely sold on Cincinnati. The changes on defense. I know they may have shored up that offensive line a little bit, but you also lost a really high caliber running back in Mixon. How are they going to replace that? The wide receivers, Jamar Chase, where's he at right now? Like, is he coming back? Is he coming back by week 2? Is he going to play week 1? I doubt it. But on top of that, like, I'm not a doctor and I'm not going to play like I am, but from what I've read, that wrist injury that Burrow suffered is pretty significant, and I don't know if he's going to be the same quarterback. We haven't seen it yet, so I just don't. I think there's more question marks for Cincinnati right now than I do the Ravens. The Ravens are going to be really good on defense. Again, they did lose a couple of players, but from what we talked about with Ms. Gina last week, she's pretty confident in what they were able to fill in those holes on the defense, stuff like that. And then, of course, they brought that power back Henry. I think that's going to be a dangerous combination with Lamar Jackson and Henry. So they're a little thin at wide receiver for the Ravens. I mean, after you got Flowers, you got Aguilar, right? So that's 1-2 punch.
Aguilar and Bateman. Yeah.
So they're heavy at tight end. So my only worry for the Ravens is if any one of those top guys get hurt, they're in trouble.
Yeah.
Right? Because they only got 6 receivers, they got 3 tight ends. I think they kept 3 running backs. But if Flowers goes down, what's your receiving core look like?
Yeah.
If Henry goes down, I think they can be sufficient at that because they've proven in the past they can supplement other running backs in that game. If Andrews goes down, again, is that going to be a problem?
Right.
But I just think that they're better on defense for that division because they beat up on each other. So I got the Ravens winning. I got Cincinnati finished second, and I got the the Browns, and then the Steelers.
Do you have any cause for concerns with them losing Mike McDonald to Seattle or the changeover?
We talked to Gina about that last week, Miss Gina, and I talked to her and DM too. I think calling the plays on defense and getting into the flow of the game is something that he's just going to have to gradually learn and get into during the season, right? Being a play caller. But he knows the system, right? He knows the calls. He knows the verbiage. He's comfortable with the players already. He's been there. So I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal, that big of a drop off at all. I think it's going to be just fine. It might take him a few weeks to get him into a rhythm for calling the game, but other than that, I don't think it's going to be that big a deal. No.
Corey, what about you? Who you got winning AFC North?
As much as I want to say the Bengals, I'm not sold on Burrow's injury. I know if you saw beginning of camp, he had several really, really bad throws, and I'm wondering if he doesn't fully have 100% control of his passing game right now. And as you know, it only takes one or two bad throws to completely turn a game around.
Correct.
And there's just been a lot of inconsistencies that I've seen coming from camp. Yeah, made some of those elite Burrow plays, some of those drop in the bucket throws, but I've also seen some very uncharacteristic throws for him to where he's overthrown a receiver by 20 yards or underthrown him by 15 yards. So I'm wondering if there is still limitations to him. And after losing Mixon, losing some of their key players on defense, I think the Ravens are coming back around and getting fully healthy again. They had that first round defensive end that was probably going to be the top defensive end in the draft if he didn't have that injury that they drafted, I think, last year. I can't think of his name. He'll be there ready to go this year. They stocked up more on defense. They've got probably one of the top cornerback groups in the league. I'm going to have to go with Baltimore. I'd say Baltimore, Cincy, Cleveland, Pittsburgh. Okay. I really like Baltimore's two tight end set when it comes to Likely and Andrews. I like the Chiefs' offense runs through Kelsey. For years, it's ran through Andrews, and he's had injury concerns. But I know that he could step up and play that tight end one role when Andrews is out. We haven't really got to see that 12 personnel with both Likely and Andrews in there consistently, and I think that's going to give the league problems.
Yeah.
Right. Well, as far as me, man, I got the Ravens again winning the AFC North. Yeah, I'm kind of aside with Corey on this one. Not that I don't think that the Bengals are a talented team. I just think that some of the pieces that they had last year not being there this year kind of give me some cause for concern that maybe there won't be the same production as there's been over the last couple of years. It's hard to really replace guys, especially when you got them well versed in your system. So for me, it's really tough to pick them. I still think they can make the playoffs. I still think they're a playoff team, and I do think that they're a contender in the right matchup. I would say, but I still think that the Ravens can win this division. I just think that they're a better overall team at this point in time. I know it's tough to kind of repeat in that division just because of how tough that division is. I wouldn't sleep on the Steelers per se, but the quarterback play really doesn't give me much confidence at this point. Russell Wilson out there doesn't really.
You don't think he's going to get out there and cook?
Yeah, his cooking days is over. I'll say that. He need to go ahead and get out the kitchen because he definitely ain't cooking no more. I don't think it'd be too long before Justin Fields is taking snaps for that team at some point.
So I had this conversation in a space. I think it was a commander space. I can't remember. I don't know. It got crazy in there, but the point was made is like, oh, well, he's a much better upgrade than what they had last year. I'm like, he's not that much of an upgrade. Did you watch him in Denver? Like, he's cooked.
Is he an upgrade at all?
I mean, he's a slight upgrade. He's got experience. He's more adept at reading coverages than what they had last year, in my opinion. Yeah. And I think he's moving in the pocket, right? But he's not that much of an upgrade.
Yeah. I think cerebral, probably and veteran wise, he's an upgrade over what they've had, being able to probably scan the field and know what coverages, teams are gonna come with or whatever. We know Russell's a veteran at this point. He's been in the league, a while, so he knows the game. But I just think that the athletic ability, the ability to make plays out of nothing, to make something happen, it's just not there no more. And I think that's hard when you're in this league, especially with how fast the league is become, especially how fast defensive players are in this league now. So I just think the game is kind of passing him by at this point. And it's no knock against him, but I mean, Russell Wilson's 37 years old at this point, 37, 38. Yeah. So it's just at that point now, I think that he just doesn't have that same ability to do some of the things he used to be able to do early on in his career. and I think that really hinders him at this point. But we're gonna move on to the next division. We're gonna go with the AFC South, and we're gonna go to Corey. Corey, who you got winning the AFC South? Gotta come off mute, Corey.
Yep, have Ethan go first. I'm adjusting my settings on here.
Okay.
So we could not hear you.
Go ahead, Ethan.
Yes, I mean I got the Colts, I think, on this one. I debated between the Colts and the Texans, but
Dark horse.
I really like kind of what the Colts are building. And I mean, if Anthony Richardson can stay healthy, like we seen flashes last year. So
well, even if he can, they've got Flacco to back him up.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be good. That was another team that was fighting for that AFC South last year between, obviously them Texans and Jags. And so, man, that division. So AFC North last year was really good. AFC South this year might be one of the tougher conferences or divisions in football. There's just a lot of talent that's going into the AFC South right now. Obviously Mitchell, I like that, that draft pick. He was one of them that I was higher on coming out of the draft at wide receiver. So I mean, they've made a lot of good moves. A lot of people are picking Texans and, the Jaguars. And so I'm going to have to stick with the Colts here.
Okay. Corey, who you got?
I don't see how you can go against the Texans. We saw what Stroud could do with an injured receiving core last year. They add Diggs in there. They've got Tank Dell back healthy. I can't bet against them. I mean, based on what I saw last year and who they added, I almost think the Texans run away with that division, win it by 2 or 3 games.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
They're going to be
thinking you think they win how many games? We talking 12, 13?
I give them 13. I think that they make a strong push in the playoffs too. I think they could beat teams like Baltimore or like Cincy.
Uh-huh.
They looked really good last year with the depleted receiving room. Now imagine adding Diggs in there in year 2 of CJ Stroud, having Tank Dell back.
Does a sophomore slump for CJ Stroud concern you?
No, he's got the mentality. He's got kind of that little swagger, kind of like Burrow did, kind of like Mahomes has. He has that where it's almost next man up mentality, like next play. Like throws an interception, he comes back, he scrambles around, hits Tank Dell over the middle for a 40-yard play. Like he seems unfazed. He's got that like Mahomes does, where he can throw 2 interceptions in 2 drives and still come back out slinging the ball. That's what you want in a quarterback. Like, to me, he's a top 5 QB.
Right.
Okay. How do you think Diggs is going to work into that receiving room? Nobody?
Kind of like it did in Buffalo. I don't think he's going to get the targets that he wants. I don't think he'll get the targets that he wants like he did in Buffalo, but I think he'll be a big part of that offense and help spread the ball around. I mean, they could have 2,000 receivers this year.
Yeah.
Ross, who you got win AFC South?
I think I have the Houston Texans, I think, winning that. But after that, I've got Tennessee, and then I've got
you got Tennessee finishing second in the division. I gotta hear it. Do you feel confident about that?
See,
that's my first question.
I've had this discussion in Spaces now for the last 3 days. Listen,
I'm listening. I'm all ears.
What has the Jacksonville Jaguars done for you the last 2 years that have shown you that they can make something work there? Like, so far, I haven't seen anything from Lawrence. They've had players there. They had playmakers there. They've had a good defense.
That's valid.
So, like Lawrence right now for me is in a prove it season. He's got to prove it to me that he can go out there and he can operate the offense and he can lead that team and be a difference maker when it counts. If he does that, then he can compete for the top spot with Houston. But I don't know that he can.
The whole problem for me is losing Derrick Henry, though. That whole offense revolved around Henry, and defense is being scared of him. A 60-yard run.
Listen, they've got Pollard. Okay, let me finish. Let me get my sequel here. Okay, listen. They got Pollard back there running the ball. He looks like he's kind of coming out of that phase where he was injured. Okay, he didn't look good last year, but I think he's starting to come out of that phase, and I think he's going to be able to run the ball pretty well. I also think that they have a lot of good, talented wide receivers there, and Will Levis had some good flashes last year,
right,
as a quarterback. Right, that defense is where I'm hanging my hat. You add Snead, and that defense across the board is really talented, in my opinion. If they can click right on offense, I'm telling you right now, like Tennessee could be a sneaky, dangerous team. It could be one of those like worst to first type teams that could come in and make noise. So I got Tennessee, and then I've got the Jaguars, and then I've got the Colts. I don't believe the Colts have the quarterback position really solidified yet to where they can make a lot of noise. Flacco is there to back it up. I don't know what he's got left in the tank. But Richardson's got to get a lot better in the passing game. Like his production passing the ball is god awful right now. Yeah. And he can run the ball, but he's got to take care of himself. He got hurt twice last year. Overall, that roster is really good, right? This is my problem. I think this is like right up there with the AFC North as far as the most competitive division in football, in my opinion, because there's a lot of good roster in this division, but there's question marks at quarterback after Houston, right? So that's what I'm going with, man. I got Houston, I got Tennessee, I got the Jags, and then I've got the Colts.
Yeah.
So can I say something real quick, DG?
Go ahead, man.
So all right, so the Anthony Richardson, all that, like he was one of the most talented quarterbacks coming out of that draft. He obviously needs time to develop. So, I mean, you could be right on that one. The Tennessee thing, though, I got to see it with the new coach. Vrabel, man, I loved watching him coach. Like that was one of the, like a Dan Campbell sort of coach. Somebody that's going to get in your face and, going to get you hyped up. And that's the kind of physicality that we've seen with that team. They come out and play like that. So, yeah, Dominique. So that's kind of my thing with the Titans is I want to see them with that coach first before I say yay or nay on whether or not they'll be any good. And they have the roster.
That's where I'm hanging my head on. Like I know I think that coach, he's new, he's fresh, right? But they've got a lot of talent on that team, man. And Will Levis, I think he's growing, and he had enough growth spurt in that division last year to where I think if you add if this is the year that he's going to have it. If he's ever going to have a good year and really propel him into a situation, I think this has got to be the year. I mean, look at their wide receiver core he's got. I mean, look at the running back and the offensive line. I think is solid too. So I mean, that's kind of my pick to be that dark horse team in the NFL is the Titans. That's my dark horse team.
I'm going to give a little pushback for this, and this is why I think this offense will struggle. They had one of the most lackluster passing games in the league when teams had the box stacked to stop Derrick Henry. Now, Tony Pollard came from Dallas, which has one of the strongest, best running lines. However, if you look at stats from last year, that Derrick Henry had the least amount of yardage before contact, which means people were penetrating that D line and getting in that backfield before any other running back. So they're running. That's the great thing about having a running back like Derrick Henry. Somebody can break through, but he's going to break that first tackle one-on-one. I don't trust Pollard to have that type of strength to consistently break backfield tackles like that. And
no, that's not his game.
What? Yeah, but
not his game.
That O-line was very leaky and let Derrick Henry get hit in the backfield a lot. And that the Chiefs figured out how to stop it, which was to hit him in the back with somebody that can tackle like Bolton. That was the key to stopping Derrick Henry, was to have multiple people. But their O-line was so bad last year that Derrick Henry had the least amount of yards before contact, and it was almost in the negative. So that tells me that teams are going to be able to step back. They're going to be able to drop people into coverage, and I think that'll even put a chokehold on that passing game even more. I'm just not sold on it. I have to see it.
And that's fine. I can go with that. But listen, you're going from a power running game to a running game that has more versatility in the passing game. It's going to be completely different. So, I mean, just listen to these wide receivers they got. DeAndre Hopkins, Calvin Ridley, Burks, Boyd, Westbrook, Jackson. Like, that's a pretty doggone good wide receiver core, man.
It's just one issue.
What's the issue?
Will Levis.
Yeah, but all right.
Mayonnaise boy.
Well, not only
I'm looking at this.
Not only that, D-Hop's got to be able to stay healthy for the full season. He's getting older. And then Burks hasn't played more than, I think, a half a season over the last 2 years. He's had a bunch of nagging injuries. He hasn't worked out. People have even thought about that they were going to trade him or cut him. I think he had 300 yards last season. He didn't have a whole lot of production. Ridley completely underperformed at Jacksonville. He had drop issues. I'm just not sold. There's so many little inconsistencies all the way across the board that it just has me to where I can't just say, yeah, I think they're going to be great. I think they may have drop issues. I think they may have issues with their running game, with penetration, with their line issues, with receiver health.
Hold on.
Go ahead,
so,
Russ.
Listen. Will Levis started 9 games last year. Okay. Your boy Richardson over there for the Colts started how many games?
I think he got hurt. What was it, week 3
it
or
was early.
4? It was early.
I think it was week 4. He got hurt twice. Okay. His passer rating is horrible. And you're going to tell me that team, that quarterback, in a similar situation, is going to be better than a team that has no.
Yes.
So
I just don't trust anybody that puts mayonnaise.
We're going to come back to this podcast. We're going to come back to this halfway.
This is why it's predictions.
I'm telling you, we're going to come back to this. The Titans are going to finish second in the division. You watch.
I think.
So does that make them a playoff team?
No.
I think the Titans finish right around 500.
Okay.
Look, okay. Let me just go ahead and give my picks and then kind of combat Ross's picks as well. I got the Texans winning the AFC South. I just think right now they're arguably the most talented team in that division. I think that the offseason they did what it needs to be done to obviously put themselves and push themselves over into contender mode. You got a young phenom quarterback in CJ Stroud, who I think is gonna have his time in this league at some point, and I think we're gonna see a lot of battles between him and Pat go down, especially early on in his career. I love what they did with their defense this year, and the Neil Hunter, and that pairing him along with Will Anderson as well too. I think they got a very lethal pass rush down there, and I think they're going to do a lot of damage. Love the weapons that they have: Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Stephon Diggs, even adding Diggs to the crew. I think that helps them out, pushes them, like I said, over to contender mode. I have the Colts finishing second in that division, and I actually have the Colts making the playoffs. The reason being I would take them over the Titans is because I trust the Colts coaching situation more than I trust. I think it's Bill. What was it? Is it Callahan? Brian Callahan who took over in Tennessee? I think I think so. The old offense coordinator from the Bengals.
I
Uh,
can't remember.
yeah, I think he took over in Tennessee. I don't have nothing against Will Levis. I just don't think that he's as talented as Anthony Richardson. Um, I think that he can be a serviceable quarterback in this league, but I just don't see him being able to push that team over the edge. I don't see him being the guy that can get them over the hump um, at this point. What's our go ahead, Ross?
I'm counting. I'm counting. I was counting playoff spots.
No, so it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, if the Titans, obviously we know what they have at receiver and D Hop and Calvin Ridley and signing uh, Tyler Boyd from the Bengals. I
Who
think that
has the best defense in that division?
I think Houston does.
You think?
I think Houston. I wouldn't be
Titans' defense is pretty good, but
Titans defense is great. I wouldn't be surprised if the Jags defense was a lot better this year um, than it was last year. I think their pass rush was kind of coming along with Trayvon Walker and Josh Hines Allen now. Um, was tops in the leagues in sacks or whatever. So I think that they can kind of replicate that again. I do worry about Jacksonville's secondary at this point. I don't think it's as strong as Tennessee's or as Houston's as well too. Um, I just I don't
So
know, man. I just can't buy the Will Levis hype. I don't know.
that defense has got Simmons, Joseph, Sweat,
Right.
and Coburn, which
Yeah.
we know of, right?
Yeah.
Um, Landry, Murray, Key, and the linebacking core. Secondary, you got Sneed.
Yeah. I think they've made some good significant additions. I just to me it boils down to how good is Will Levis going to be with that receiving core, and if I just can't. I don't know. I can't buy into the hype of him. I don't know why. I'm sorry. It's just to me, I don't think he's as talented as Anthony Richardson. I don't think he can do the same kind of things Anthony Richardson can do on the field. I think if Anthony Richardson stays healthy this year, along with Shane Steichen calling the plays, and we've seen how good Shane Steichen was when Anthony Richardson went down, and adding now that element back to that offense in Indianapolis, I don't see them being better than the Colts.
All right, let's go. Like Will Levis played 9 games last year.
Uh-huh.
Okay, he had a 58% pass completion percentage.
Right.
He threw for 1,800 yards, roughly 200 yards per game, 8 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, passer rating of 84. He also had 57 rushing yards with a rushing touchdown. But here's something that I think he's definitely going to have to improve on if he's going to make me look good. He can't have 7 fumbles.
No, can't
turn
over the ball.
Yeah, he can't turn over the ball. So I think he's going to get better at that. I mean, just watching some of the training camp clips and stuff, I think he can do that. If he just gets a little bit better and just learns how to manage the game and then allows that defense to play good ball, I think that they can be very competitive. But
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me at all. But I guess this is why we're doing predictions, so we can go back later on in the season and Ross can all tell us, "I told you so."
Well, I also want to look at real quick. You guys go ahead. I just want to look at this real quick.
All right, as we move along, I guess we won't go to the AFC West because we all know who we're all picking to win that division at this point. Unless anybody on this pod is picking somebody differently. Ethan looks like he wants to pick the Broncos at this point.
Yeah, I got the Broncos here. Bo Nix, MVP.
Yeah, I think it's all clear consensus on Arrowhead AM and PM that the Chiefs are probably going to win this division for the 9th straight time.
Oh, no, wait. I do have a bone to pick, though. Okay.
Okay.
The Las Vegas Raiders are finishing second in this division The Broncos are finishing last. The Chargers are finishing third.
Okay. I can see it.
Now,
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are pushing back on the Raiders thing, but please, guys, go look at their roster and the quarterback that they have. I'm telling you, like, the quarterback that they have is not great. But he was also on a Colts team last year where they almost got into the playoffs with him.
Yeah.
So with that roster with the Raiders, all he's got to do is manage the game. And arguably he's got a better receiver out there and he's got better tight ends.
Yeah.
And that defense.
Will he do that though? Is the question.
That's what I'm saying. Will he do it? I do think that this is one of the sneaky games that we might end up losing. I think we might trade with the Raiders. Because I think like you add a decent quarterback with that team, they're a really good team.
Yeah, and the Chiefs are known for at least one dumb game a year where they just forget to show up and play their actual game, and and the team executes that day and beats them, just like how the Raiders came in on Christmas Day last year and beat us in Arrowhead.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, I think Gardner Minshew can be serviceable, but God, he's such a gunslinger, man. That I think he's just gonna turn the ball over too many times for them or whatever. And I don't have much faith in Aiden O'Connell to be anything other than a backup at this point. So,
but see, that's the thing with him is he don't care. At this point, he don't care. So he's just gonna go out there and just willy-nilly do it. Like whatever comes goes. Like, but I mean,
there have been talks though about the Raiders tanking to get Shedeur Sanders next year.
I'm not saying. I'm not putting that on live service. I don't.
All right, let's move.
They do.
Let's move to the AFC East. Ross, at this point in the season, before the season starts, who do you got winning the AFC East?
So AFC East, I've got the Jets. I got Jets, Miami, Buffalo, New England at the bottom. Listen, if Aaron Rodgers can stay healthy, even if you get 40% of Aaron Rodgers, that's better than what they had last year. And with that team that they have around them, specifically on defense, which could potentially be a top 5 defense, and that running game that they have, I think this team could be really dangerous.
All right.
And that's all predicated on Aaron Rodgers staying healthy. But on the flip side of that too, I think they have a better capable backup this year. I forget his name. You guys help me out.
Did they sign Tyrod? I think.
Yeah, Tyrod Taylor. Thank you.
Tyrod Taylor. Yeah.
So I think they have a better backup. So if they ended up having to put Tyrod in there, it's not going to be. It's not going to be as bad as it was last year. Yeah. Now this is all predicated really on Aaron Rodgers playing healthy.
Right.
If he can do that, then I think this is definitely their division to win this year because Buffalo doesn't like they've got some holes on defense, and I think they've got wide receiver core is going to be pretty young. MVS is out there right now. I don't know what his health situation is looking like right now, but and I do like Cook, their running back, but it's going to be a lot of pressure on Josh Allen to perform. There's a fair chance that this could be a season he doesn't make the playoffs.
Possibly. Yep.
I mean, there's a lot of good teams in the AFC West, and they're not looking good offensively, and they got holes on defense. I mean, I think they just announced today that who is it starting at safety?
Damar Hamlin.
Starting
safety.
So, I mean, that's where we're at right now. So, I don't know. That's my pick.
Ethan, who you got with it, AFC East?
Yeah, so I mean, I kind of gotta agree with Ross on this one. I think the Jets win it. I was between them and the Dolphins on this one. Dolphins are a good pick, a sexy pick up until December. So I can't give it to the Dolphins there. I have to give it to the Jets. I mean, with Aaron Rodgers, if kind of like Ross said, if you can get 40%, which I don't think is even in question at this point. Like Aaron Rodgers ain't somebody that's going to run the ball anyway, so that Achilles injury doesn't really affect him a whole lot. The Jets were one of the better defenses last year. I mean, I don't know anybody that can deny the fact that if they had a serviceable quarterback last year, that they would have been, a pretty damn good team. So I got to go with the Jets winning the East. I'll go Dolphins at the 2 seed there. I think they get a wild card spot. Bills. I mean, the Bills are one of the biggest question marks in the NFL this year. They could be that team that, hell, they could pull off the East, or they could, look as bad as what we think they're going to look. So, we'll see on them. Patriots, ain't going to waste my breath on them. So, but the Jets have to be your pick.
Corey, what about you? Who you got winning AFC East?
I'm still gonna go Buffalo.
The size is crazy.
Yo.
I don't trust Tua whatsoever. I don't trust Josh Allen without weapons. Patriots, they've been a dumpster fire since Brady left.
Yeah.
You've got the Jets, but all the rumors I hear is that nobody likes Aaron Rodgers there. How many times have we seen Garrett Wilson and him fighting on the sidelines and arguing? And the reports are saying it's not just that, it's other players that he came in with too big of a head. That was his downfall in Green Bay. His ego got too big, and he lost the respect of a lot of players that weren't playing as a team. Are they going to play that way in New York? Is he going to have the full team effort behind him? Or are they going to be like, screw this guy, we want him gone, 1 year and out, let's tank and get rid of him? It sounds like a lot of people don't like him, so I'm not sold on that situation. Statistically, on paper, with Aaron Rodgers, statistically wise, and that team and that defense, on paper, they're the best team in that division. However, the chemistry that Buffalo has, minus Diggs and Davis being gone, I like that chemistry a lot better than I like the chemistry in New York. So that is why I'm taking Buffalo. I just think there will be stages in that New York offense to where things don't click. Players turn against Rodgers. Rodgers has a big head, the way he snaps at players. I don't trust the situation.
Yeah. So I'll say with my picks, this is my logical pick. Yesterday on Tell the Truth, I gave my betting pick. Took the Jets because of the high value that they have, as far as betting odds at this point. But I think logically, I'm going to stick with the Bills winning this division. Although I'm not thrilled what they have defensively this year. I just think they're going to probably take a little step back as far as the guys they lost. Matt Milano going down again was a huge loss for them. Again, then I think they both lost both safeties. Michael Hyde and Jordan Poyer is not there anymore. And I'm not too thrilled about them starting DeMar Hamlin at safety for the first couple of weeks. So hopefully at some point they can get that figured out. But the one thing that I do believe in is Josh Allen at this point and what he can do. I think when the moment you've seen in times, especially last year, when the moment is bright and they need a play, Josh Allen comes through for them, 9 times out of 10. Now, he may throw some picks along with it, but, at the same time, we've seen him be able to do some special things on the field, and I think that continues going into this year as well, too. I think that it's really going to take a Herculean effort from him for him to drag that team kind of across the finish line to get to the playoffs and things of that nature. But I think that they can pull it out, especially with the coaching staff that they have and the establishment up there. Sean McDermott is pretty established himself. So I feel confident within that division that, they can at least keep some kind of cohesion to get, to the playoffs and win that division. I like the Jets, but speaking to your point, Corey, just all the chemistry issues at this point kind of cause for concern. But especially with your quarterback being the main guy, kind of causing some of those chemistry issues at this point. It doesn't bode very well going into the season.
Have you guys seen the clips from training camp
about them fighting?
No, about Aaron just connecting with Wilson and just I don't see the chemistry disconnect, but
I've heard. So to me, I think it's more of what I've heard from people say. That there have been some issues there or whatever. Hear media all the time, and they could just be making narratives and stories and stuff of that nature. There's a lot of media out there that don't like Aaron Rodgers. I still think Aaron Rodgers is one of the better quarterbacks in this league, especially talent wise, and still can do some of the same things that he's been able to do. But man, it seems like every day I'm hearing different things, up there that are going on as far as the chemistry with that team. So if they can keep it together, I think talent wise that they have the talent enough to at least beat Buffalo out for that division. Um, I'm not too big on the Dolphins. I just don't think they can stay healthy ever. Then I'm with Ethan. Once they get to cold football, things get a little dicey for them. So I don't have much confidence in Miami to win that division at this point. And like you said, the Patriots are complete utter dumpster fire at this point. I think they're tanking again this year to make sure they can get some weapons up there for Drake May in the future.
To me, that may be the worst division in the AFC. Surprisingly, which usually it's
pretty competitive.
Second best.
Yeah.
But this year, I think they're going to be competitive on which one is worse.
Right.
Like I said, I don't trust the Jets. But also, here's one stat that makes me have a lot of hesitation by putting the Bills in the playoffs. Look at Josh Allen's stats before Diggs, and look at his stats after Diggs. It's not pretty. And that's the one concern that I have. Is he going to fall back off into that interception hole where he's throwing a crap ton of interceptions, 2 or 3 a game, because he doesn't have that player where it's like with Mahomes, there was that whole meme, F it, Tyreek down there somewhere. With Allen, it was always F it, Diggs is down there somewhere, and he was always throwing it up to Diggs or hitting Gabe Davis on a 60-yard home run ball.
Yeah.
What's he going to do without that security blanket?
Hey, he's got MVS.
Yeah, I think the maturation process of Josh Allen, I think you probably see a more
you're not right.
Methodical.
You're not right, Ethan.
Fucking MVS down there somewhere.
Something wrong with him there.
Yeah, that ain't right.
He's backing up. He's backpedaling somewhere.
Right.
Greased up with popcorn butter.
Right. I think you see a more cautious Josh Allen this year with knowing the situation of what they have offensively this year. Maybe not be as erratic as he's been in the previous years. But then again, I could be wrong, and he could go out there and lead the league in interceptions again this year. But
so
go ahead.
So I know that we're going to get into this subject, but talking about Josh Allen, if he does lead them to the AFC East title, does he become your favorite to win MVP?
Yes.
With that wide receiver core.
Yes. Actually, that's why I was going to say we're going to go rapid fire here through the NFC and get to our MVPs, our offensive players, and things of that nature. Because I actually give you a little preview. I do have Josh Allen winning the MVP this year. But let's go rapid fire. NFC North. Who you guys got winning NFC North?
It looks like I may be the only one here at the moment. So I debated between the Packers and the Lions. I think the Bears have a shot too.
Yeah.
That's to be determined. I got to go Packers. The momentum that they were, building on last year towards the end of the season, I think kind of carries over into the season this year. Now, I do think the Lions still make the playoffs. I think I got them as one of my wild card teams. So
Okay. Ross, what about you? NFC North. Who wins?
Packers. I got Packers, Lions, Bears, and then Vikings. Yeah.
Okay.
Or did they have to add a Viking in there?
Wait.
Right.
Oh my.
All right.
I mean, the Lions were a couple boneheaded plays away from being in the Super Bowl last year. I still think the Lions had I think the Lions had the best roster in the NFC. I think even over the 49ers. I think they may make a Super Bowl push this year. I mean, there were two drives with boneheaded plays away from beating the 49ers and facing us in the Super Bowl. They gave that game away.
Packers, though.
I don't trust the lack of weapons. I mean, I'm taking golf.
Weapons.
I'm taking golf over Love at this point right now.
Who's the running
back?
Who's the Packers running back?
Josh Jacobs.
I still though, I love Jahmyr.
All those young receivers that have all that rapport with Love now.
Yeah, but I think he likes the combination of Gibbs and Montgomery more than Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, I mean, I think that running back room. I think Montgomery had what? I think they had tied. I think or up there at the top 3 for most rushing touchdowns in the NFL. They've got Amon-Ra St. Brown. I mean, they've got what's his name, Williams, who's finally going to be healthy and back and not suspended for the first few games. I think he's going to be electric on the deep ball. I mean, you've got that intermediate guy and that electric deep threat. Goff is a top 10 quarterback in the league, in my opinion. He's great when he's great. He has his down moments, kind of a lot like Allen. But if you look at that roster altogether, they spent the last 2 drafts completely solidifying that defense. They already had the offensive weapons. They went and got Gibbs. I think they're the most well-rounded team in the league right now, besides the Chiefs.
Right. Yeah, my pick at this point is the Packers. I just really, I guess I'm buying more into the Jordan Love hype at this point. I just like what they've been able to do with him over the last year, especially last season. And I kind of see him be able to kind of come into his own down the stretch late in the year. So I really think that they can win that division. I still think the Lions will probably be very, very competitive in that division as well. I really think 3 teams from the NFC North get into the playoffs from that division: Lions, Bears, and the Packers. I'll make it, in my opinion. I think as far as the NFC side, that's probably going to be the toughest division on that side. So I think it's one of those divisions that's probably going to come down to the last week. And whoever, wins that last game probably ends up winning that division. Hopefully it'll be the Packers. So
the Bears are interesting to me.
I did a positional breakdown. If you look at it, you take out the quarterback, Love and Goff. At this point, I think they're pretty even. I think Love will eventually become better, but he's still young. You look at the wide receiver room.
Watson, Reed, Dobbs, Wicks.
I just don't see a true number 1 there. And I think that they're 3 solid receivers, but they don't have they don't have an Amon-Ra St. Brown. They don't have somebody go for 1,400 yards. They don't have a tight end like Sam Laporta. Yeah, they don't have. I like that running back room too. I mean, Jacobs is probably a top 5 back, but you put in that 2-headed monster.
Well, you got Lloyd there too.
Yeah, you've got that 2-headed monster they have there. I mean, look at what Gibbs did in the passing game last year, and he's only going to get better as he develops. They have a better offensive line. If you look at the Packers' offensive line over the last couple of years, it was anchored by Bakhtiari, and when he was out, that offensive line was a mess. He's gone now, and they haven't really addressed that issue. So O-line goes to the Lions. Wide receivers, I'm still giving it to the Lions because Amon-Ra St. Brown and Williams, I think, is still a better combo than any 2. that the Packers have. Tight end room, better. Running back room, I'll give that one a slight edge to the Packers. But like I said, bad O-line. Give me the O-line I'd rather run behind that O-line of Detroit. And you've got that two-headed monster. So, I mean, it's still up there. The defense, that's a wash. Both of them have younger defensive that they're rebuilding. So I've got 4-1 on I would choose the Lions over the Packers when it comes to position groups.
Not me.
That's why it's predictions. We're gonna be able to go back on this and either Ross or Corey is gonna be able to say I told you so and you were wrong. But let's move to the NFC South, guys. Who you guys got winning the NFC South? We'll start with Corey. Go ahead, Corey.
I'll let them go first. I want to hear their predictions. I like countering. I like being the bad guy.
let it rip, Ethan.
Who are we doing?
Yeah,
NFC South.
The NFC South. I got the Falcons winning that one. Especially if Kirk Cousins can, get healthy, stay healthy. That team, sneakily could be good. I know a lot of people are going to pick the Buccaneers. That's kind of the sexy pick right now. I like the Buccaneers. I just the Falcons, what they've been kind of building over the past couple of years. Now, one thing I will say is them having the AFC West this year. It's going to be a little tougher. I don't know. I mean, I like the Falcons. Panthers, I don't see that big of a lead this year.
The Panthers aren't winning that division.
No. Saints, can Derek Carr do it? Who knows, yeah. So
is Derek Carr even going to be the starter for the whole season?
That's a good question. Who knows?
Find out next time.
So, I got the Falcons, and like I said, I know most of you guys are going to go probably Buccaneers here, but I'd be the odd man.
What about you, Ross? So you got NFC South.
Well, I'm not going Buccaneers. I got Atlanta, and then I got Tampa, and then I got New Orleans, and then Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I like what Atlanta's doing. I like their roster. They've added a ton of pieces on defense. But again, as my homeboy DG pointed out this morning in our Arrowhead AM space, you can throw a lot of money at the roster. But is that roster going to come together? I do like their head coach. I like Raheem. I like him a lot. I think he's going to be a good coach for them. They have a lot of pieces on defense. And is that all going to come together? Their offense looks good. I like some of their young receivers. Obviously, they got the young stud running back. And then they got that tight end that I think they're going to be able to utilize him properly. So, and you add in a veteran quarterback that you give him weapons, he's going to be able to produce, right? We've seen that. And with this day and age, how health is and stuff like that, I'm not really concerned about his Achilles, or not his Achilles, was his ACL, right? So I'm not overly concerned about that. And they did draft a young quarterback that's behind him. So the Bucs have a really good roster too. And Mr. Baker got himself a new contract. So I think it's going to be a heavyweight fight between those two teams in the division. I don't think those other two guys can really compete. So, that's mine.
What about you? Go ahead, Corey. Who you got?
Look at the Panthers.
All we've said about the Falcons is this: oh my God, if they could just get a quarterback, that offense would be electric. They've got Pitts, they've got Olave. I trust Cousins to be able to distribute the ball, and that's what they need. They don't need a top 3 quarterback, top 5 quarterback. They've got enough weapons. They just need somebody that can distribute the ball. And I think Kirk Cousins is the perfect fit for that. I'm going to take Atlanta, but I'm torn between them and Tampa Bay. Now, I do have something funny to say, though. Browns fans are going to hate me. How much better of a situation would the Browns be in right now if they would have saved 4 first-round picks, $300 million guaranteed, and just developed a quarterback in Baker Mayfield?
Right.
But I mean, I've got Tampa Bay starting to get. I mean, Godwin's had injury history. Their O line has been depleted, patched up. Evans, he's getting older. He's not going to be that same dominant receiver year in and year out. So going down the road, I think we start to see he's getting to that point to where I think he's peaked. He started to decline a little bit. I think that he's not going to be that 1,400-yard receiver anymore. I like the young weapons that the Falcons have, and I'm going to go with them. I'm going to go with them, Tampa Bay, then New Orleans.
Yeah, I got
We're not even talking about Carolina. That's a dumpster fire.
I got Tampa. Yeah, I'm the Falcons. I mean, I think you can spend all the money in the world, but it's going to come together at some point. That's the only thing that holds me back from picking them. I think Tampa right now has more established offense, what they want to do. Do have a little cause for concern about their secondary this year. Them losing Carlton Davis kind of doesn't bode well for them. But I think at the same time, the coach. Oh my gosh, slipped my mind now. Forgot his name.
Who?
Tampa Bay's head coach.
I got his picture in my head.
Yeah. People know what I'm talking about. Anyway, do think that they can be able to alleviate some of those issues, with coaching, the coaching staff that they have down there. Todd Bowles.
Todd Bowles.
Yeah, sorry about that. I think Todd Bowles can be able to kind of cover up some of those deficiencies that they're going to probably have in the secondary. Kind of same thing. I think we think that Steve Spagnuolo can do for us this year as well, and for our secondary. So I got Tampa winning that division. Big Baker, having another great year coming off of a massive contract, that he obviously earned last year. So, Tampa Bay, I think, takes the NFC South. Let's move to the NFC West. Who you guys got winning NFC West at this point? Ross, who you got winning NFC West?
Oh, NFC West. Wow, that's such a difficult division. I'm going to have to go to the 49ers with this one. I think they've obviously got all their pieces back now. They signed their guys, signed Ayuk, signed Williams. I think they're healthy, right? So, I mean, I don't think they have any significant injuries to anybody. I just think that they've got probably the second close to first, like tied best roster in the division with the Lions. I got 49ers, and then I've got the Los Angeles Rams behind them, and then Seattle, and then Arizona. Okay. So I think, and that's not necessarily saying that Arizona is going to be bad, because I think that Arizona is actually going to be pretty decent this year.
Right.
It's just how this division is going to play out. I mean, Seattle's good too. Seattle's got a good defense. I think they've got their wide receivers there. I'm just not sold on their quarterback play in Seattle. You know what I'm saying? So
who are you, Adam Schefter over there or something? You getting
all over the place,
inside information from the.
Well, just so everybody knows. So we went live, and then next thing you know, Kingdom Cast is going live. So Kingdom Cast is live with their show right now, and then Kingdom Queens decided they wanted to jump into the mix, so they went live for a short, quick session. So I'm like, got people messaging me and got things going off all over the place. So got a lot of content coming your way, guys. So if you're done watching this, make sure you guys check out Kingdom Cast and Kingdom Queens. Check out what they were talking about tonight. So that's what I got. I do like the Cardinals, though. I like what they're doing down there. I just think that top half of that division with the Rams and the 49ers is just going to be too much for those other guys to compete with.
Yeah. Ethan, who you got winning NFC West?
I got the Rams. I think as long as Stafford can stay healthy, they're going to be a tough team.
I like no matter controversy.
Yeah, so I mean the 49ers, obviously, I'd like to say them. But how many years are they going to get, just right there and not be able to actually reach it? So I kind of think they take
right.
Do what?
It's pretty much the same roster as last year.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think with the 49ers, like, they could. I mean, they very well could come out and win that division pretty easily. The Rams, I like what they've added, the pieces that they've added and stuff. And then you got Puka on year 2. You got, Cooper Kupp as long as he can stay healthy. Running back's name, Kyron.
Kyron Williams, yeah.
Yeah, and then, you had Blake Corum or whatever, however you say his last name. And then,
what a pick for Puka. What a pick.
Yeah.
Veach, where you out? You suck, Veach.
No, so, I mean, it's going to be a tough division. It's going to be between them two. Seattle, I'd like to throw them in the mix, but I can't do it. So I'm going to go Rams 1, 49ers 2, Seattle 3, and Cardinals 4.
Right.
What up, Caleb?
What up? Corey, who you got winning the NFC West?
I'm not going to go against the 49ers. I mean, they've looked so dominant in the preseason, regular season. They're the best team in football until they get to the playoffs. That's them every year. So, I mean, I'm not going to bet against them. Yeah.
Right.
That brings up a joke. You know why they're called the 49ers, right?
No.
Because they can't get past the 50-yard line when they play some Super Bowl.
All right. With that being said,
thank you for showing up to Arrowhead PM. Just kidding.
Is Greenlaw back?
That's a good one. That's a good one.
So I think he's gonna start the year on the PUP.
I would imagine he has to,
but I think he was practicing during training camp. I think he did get back on the field at least. I'm not sure. I have to look that up.
Can't wait till this last division. Go ahead. Sorry, DG.
My pick, yeah, I'm gonna go with the obvious. It's obviously the Niners. I still think they got one of the best rosters in all of football at this point. I don't really see them falling off. I think they'll be really motivated this year, especially coming off the Super Bowl loss again. I think the main thing for them, though, is going to be health, staying healthy. The last time they lost the Super Bowl, the next year they turned around. I think a lot of their fans thought that, they would go back and be able to do it again, but then health just kind of got in the way of that. So I think as long as they can stay healthy, they're one of the best teams in the league, in my opinion. So obviously it's going to be the Niners for me. And since you want to move to the next division, we'll go ahead and do that. NFC East, Ross, who do you have winning the NFC East?
Okay, so I'm going to be real. I think Philadelphia has the best chance to get out of that division as the top dog. Okay, I think they take over number 1. Now, here is where it's going to get controversial for a lot of people. I think there's way too much going on in Dallas for them to successfully have a good season.
Uh-huh.
I think the Commanders are taking over that number 2 spot. And I think Dallas finishes 3rd and the Giants last.
The Commanders.
The Commanders. Now, listen, I've been in their spaces. I'm not trying to be biased. I've been in their spaces. I kind of have a thing about, their roster. They do have 2 Kansas City Chiefs on that offensive line, and Wiley at right tackle, and Algaretti starting at left guard for them. They're starting at a left tackle that's a rookie. But, I like what they have in the quarterback and what he showed in preseason. He was very methodical. He was safe with the ball, but he was making plays. He was staying ahead of the chains. He was playing on time. I think the Commanders have something going there. I am concerned with their secondary. I am concerned with their wide receivers.
Uh-huh.
But they added a couple pieces in that tight end room. I like their running back. They've got the old Charger there, Eckler. I think he's going to provide some good juice for them. As long as they play it smart with the quarterback. I think the Commanders can make a little bit of noise, and and take advantage of the opportunistic time that the Dallas Cowboys right now are just – they're kind of just – it's a weird feeling. Like, I don't know if their defense is going to be – I don't know if their defense is going to be as good. I know they still got Parsons, and I really like him, of course, but, they've got CeeDee Lamb there. He's under contract now. But what is that going to do? Their running back situation. Who's going to be running the ball? I just think that there's an opportunity there for a slip up with the Cowboys, and I don't believe in the Giants at all because I'm sorry, I'm not a Daniel Jones fan whatsoever. Yeah. So I just think there's an opportunity for the Commanders to kind of slip up there and possibly take over that number 2 spot in that division. But clear-cut, Philadelphia, I think, has the best roster in that division. I think they take it. So,
Ethan, who you got with AFCs?
So, quick question to Ross here. He said that the Cowboys had too much going on.
Mm-hmm.
Can you kind of touch on that a little bit more?
I mean, just with their offseason, with their defensive coordinator leaving and taking over the head coaching job for the Commanders.
Lost Ron Bland.
Yeah, lost him. They didn't do much in the offseason, like, at all. Their draft was like, meh. And then, of course, you got CeeDee Lamb, that whole situation there. Of course, he got paid. But then you're not paying your star quarterback. So, like, what confidence do they have in him? And that might elevate his play maybe a little bit. I don't know. But I don't know. I follow the Cowboys a little bit because my mother is a Dallas Cowboys fan. It just has a different funny feeling to it this year because they just seem like their feet was in mud all offseason and really didn't do much to try to upgrade that roster, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and their fans obviously, were pretty highly upset about it too. Yeah. That they kind of sat on their hands in this offseason. Ethan, go ahead.
All right. So the reason why I just wanted to kind of figure out where you were going with that one. Yeah, I got the Cowboys winning this division. I feel like I'm just kind of, on a hot take streak over here.
Opposite of Ross, that's cool.
I'm opposite of all of you guys at this point.
Come back for one show. You guys are like, dude, you don't know.
No, so I mean, I got the Cowboys winning this one. I think Dak, and it kills me to say that because I absolutely cannot stand the Cowboys. I think Dak kind of comes out, has that MVP type season, trying to earn a new contract, man. So, it could very well, on paper, the Eagles are honestly probably the best team in the NFL on paper. Can it translate to the field? So,
yeah,
I got the Cowboys winning that division. I got Eagles second, Washington third, obviously Giants. They're going to be the bottom feeders of the league. So,
Corey, what about you?
I'm sorry, brain shut off for a second. Where'd you have the Commanders at?
Third.
Okay.
Third.
Man, for a second, I thought Ross was going to take the Commanders to take the division.
No, I did too.
No. He had
Listen, I'm not going to lie. Listen, Corey, I know we're talking about this year, but they've got cap room and they've got some older players there to kind of set the whole environment of what's going to happen in that franchise. They've got a young quarterback if they can keep him healthy and develop him. They've got an opportunity here to really take a step in that division next year. I think this year they kind of get by, but I think the quarterback play can maybe get them a sneaky win or two here. They almost beat Philly twice last year. And that was with that crazy situation that they had. And they replaced about 25% of their roster with new players that weren't there last year. So
Can I ask you this real quick?
The one
Commanders
move.
Hold on, Corey. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'll get my pick.
So does the Commanders sending Dotson to Philadelphia, does that give you
pause? That hurt. I mean, I think a lot of those guys in the Commanders fan club, I mean, I think they were expecting him to be their number 2 receiver. So,
Yeah.
and they thought he was a lock, and then he just gets up and shipped out. So, but they picked up that guy Brown, right, from where was he at? Houston.
Noah,
Houston.
Yeah, but I think he's going to be. I mean, I haven't seen much of him, but I mean, he's a decent receiver from what I've understand and what I've talked to some people in Houston, and he was just a cap casualty. They just had too many there to keep, and he just had to go. So, go ahead, Corey.
Yeah, who you got, Corey?
I don't know. So I was about to start singing that song. Must be something in the water. Once I thought he was about to take Commanders #1, but I was ready to take Dallas to take the division. I was ready to take Dallas to take the division, but Philly made one move that I really liked that I think puts them back up top of the NFC East, and that was bringing in Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
Now, look at how he carried that Giants offense. Now, imagine that extra dynamic already in that Philadelphia offense. I think that's going to take that offense to another level.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think that Dallas has too many inconsistencies. I mean, Dak Prescott, one week he looks like a #1. The next week he throws 4 interceptions. The next week he forgets to hand the ball to the ref. It's so many problems, so many things go wrong. It's like that situation is just foobar, if you guys know what that means.
Yeah.
Like, there's always somebody throwing a wrench in something that's messing it up. How many years have we heard in a row that this is Dallas's year? This is Dallas's year.
Too many.
I just got tired of hearing it. It's never Dallas's year. They got to get by Philly. They got to get by Kansas City. They got to get by San Francisco. They're a great team on paper, but they haven't brought it all together. And I just can't pick them. I can't pick a team that hasn't put it all together yet over 4 years of having mostly the same roster over a team that has put it together every year for the last 4 years. And that's why I'm going with Philadelphia.
I didn't put much together last year, but I get what you're saying.
Well, you're going to hear from me again, Corey. This is the Cowboys' year. I got the Cowboys winning the NFC East. I like what the Philadelphia Eagles did in the offseason, picking up Saquon Barkley. But I don't trust the play calling up there still. I just think that Sirianni's gonna find some way to fuck it up all over again.
He needs a clown suit.
Yeah. So I do think that the Saquon does come in and does help some of the deficiencies that they had in their offense last year. I think it takes a lot of pressure off of Jalen Hurts this year to not have to be basically their run game at points and times during the season. And I do like Saquon being able to run behind a lot better offensive line than he had in New York. It's just the coaching situation I just don't trust it at all. So I think that could be proved pivotal for them going into this year, and I trust the Cowboys a lot more.
You trust Jerry Jones as a GM and assistant coach over?
No, I don't trust
him. Nobody could do a better job than Jerry Jones, right?
I don't trust Jerry Jones at all, but I do think Mike McCarthy and that coaching staff and what they have going down there. The Cowboys could be a little, suspect on the defense this year, especially with the losses of Bland and with Trayvon Diggs coming back from injury as last year. But I just think Michael Parsons is going to have a hell of a year this year. I think that kind of will outweigh some of the deficiencies that they have in their secondary at this point in time. Then hopefully Bland comes back healthy for them. Yeah. But, we'll see. I think that NFC East, I think, is between the Eagles and the Cowboys at this point. Commanders, I love what they did during the offseason, but I just think they're a year or two away at this point. I do think they're going to win a lot more games than they did last year. I think they'll be a lot more competitive. The Giants, I don't know, man.
Get rid of Daniel Jones and you got a chance.
Yeah. I don't see it with Daniel Jones, but at this point, I do like the direction I think that they're headed in. I think it was a little bit of a mistake to give Daniel Jones the kind of contract that they gave him, and I think this kind of handcuffed them for the next couple of years.
I was just let me look at that.
I got a question.
It's
DG.
pretty significant. What's good?
What's the direction they're heading in?
So I think them drafting Neighbors kind of let you know that they are looking for weapons. But I just think that they've put way too much faith into Daniel Jones and what he can be in this league.
Here's the problem with that situation. The situation that you usually see teams do this is when a QB is then a prove it year, and they go out, they get weapons and say, okay, if you can't produce now, then you're not our guy. But they already gave him the bag before they did that, so they're kind of stuck with him whether he produces or not.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They did everything. They did everything ass backwards. You had the prove it year before you give them the bag. They gave him the bag and said, "Okay, now go prove it." That doesn't work.
Right. Yeah.
Well, let me pull this up real quick, just to get it, because I want people to understand what they did. So they've got a potential out after this year. It'll be a $22 million dead cap hit, but they've got a potential out.
Right.
I mean, they could wait one more season and just cut them and have $11 million dead cap hit, but are you going to want to keep them on the books?
The problem is there's no coercion between that front office. And it came out that half of them wanted to keep Daniel Jones, and the other half was like, what are you guys smoking? Yeah. So at some point, if Daniel Jones doesn't work, they're going to need to get rid of half of their staff, because obviously the ones pulling the weight aren't very good decision makers. That's why I've got no confidence in the direction the Giants are going, because now they're in this situation to where all of us can plainly see that he's nothing more than Mitch Trubisky. He's nothing more than a glorified first-round backup. I mean, sorry to Giants fans, but that's what he is. And I think that they go through a full staff overhaul after this year, too. After the blunders that they've made, I think that they're 3, 4, 5 years away from rebuilding. I think they rebuild their coaching staff, then that staff comes in, new GM decides which direction they're going to go with the roster. They're a ways away. They're going in circles. That's the direction they're going.
DG, probably should get closing this up, but do we want to pull up this week's schedule and make quick picks on the games this week?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you guys to pull.
I got it up. You want to pull yours up or you want to pull mine up?
Go ahead. You can pull yours up.
Okay. All right.
And then if you guys want to go rapid fire really quick through your awards, MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, Offensive Rookie, and Defensive Rookie real fast.
Yep.
So, Ethan.
Okay. Go.
All right. So MVP, I got Joe Burrow. Not a sexy pick for a lot of Chiefs fans. Anyway, Offensive Player of the Year, I'm going to go Tyreek. Defensive Player of the Year, I got my guy Chris Jones winning that one this year. Defensive Rookie of the Year, I don't know. You have to come back to me on that one. We'll see.
Okay.
Offensive Rookie of the Year, I want to say Caleb Williams, obviously, but I feel like that's kind of the safe pick. So I'm going to go Daniels. Okay. Ross's guy.
Ross, who you got? MVP, Defensive Player of the Year.
MVP, Patrick Mahomes. Sorry, I'm going to have to go there. There's going to be way too much firepower on that offense. I think he's going to have one of his best seasons. What was next? Defensive Player of the Year?
Yeah. Or offensive.
Okay. Well, Defensive Player of the Year, I think Chris Jones nabs it this year. I'm gonna be very biased with these picks. I'm sorry. Okay. Defensive Player of the Year is going to be Chris Jones. Offensive Player of the Year, I think, is going to be Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
I think he's gonna put together a good season.
Okay.
See what do I got next? Rookie of the year.
Offense and defensive rookie of the years.
Okay, so offensive rookie of the year, I think it's going to be Caleb Williams. Defensive rookie of the year, man, that's a tough one. I don't know the defensive rookie of the year.
I struggle with that one too.
Right.
That's a
Latu, you got Jared Verse.
Jared Verse was going to be my pick, but who knows?
I'll go with Verse. For now. I mean, I don't know.
Okay.
I'll go with Verse for now.
I think Latu's a betting favorite.
Yeah. Who else? Oh, comeback player of the year, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. Okay. Corey, who you got? MVP, defensive player of the year, offensive player of the year, offensive rookie, defensive rookie.
Okay, defensive player of the year, I'm going to have to go with Micah. I think he's been too dominant. But offensive player of the year, I'm going to go a little risky here. I think people are tired of seeing Mahomes, Burrow, Lamar. I think C.J. Stroud gets it. Okay. I think he puts up enough numbers. They want to see a new face up there.
I like that.
I think he has a good enough season to where they can say, hey, here's the new tier of the league. We're going to get these guys involved too. Defensive rookie of the year. Yeah. That's a tough one. I'm going to go with who I thought, and it's going to be, I'm going to say Caleb. I've got to. Yeah. I was going to say, I still think Caleb. I like the situation with the weapons that he has. Mm-hmm. And then defensive, who's that? This is kind of risky too. Who's that corner that dropped to Philly?
White boy,
Cooper DeJean?
Yeah.
Yes. So I liked him coming out of the draft. And Philly already has a solid secondary. And I think that he has a really good season there. They always coach up their secondary, have a great secondary every year. I think I'm going to go risky and say Cooper DeJean.
Okay. All right.
For me, I got Josh Allen MVP. Defensive player of the year is Mark Parsons. Offensive player of the year is Patrick Mahomes. Offensive rookie of the year, I'm with the consensus with Caleb Williams. And defensive rookie of the year is Jaden Hicks. I think he comes on and I think he leads all rookies in interceptions this year. So that's my bold.
I like it.
Season awards pick. With week 1 coming up, guys. Obviously, our game being tomorrow, a lot of people, a lot of eyes will be watching. But I wanted to know what games you guys will be kind of checking out and be intrigued by outside of just our game that's coming up tomorrow. I know there's the first game in Brazil is Friday. NFL will be playing on Friday for first time, I think, ever. I think that's first. No, it's probably not the first time ever, but still.
In Brazil?
Yeah, in Brazil for the first time ever. So got Packers, Eagles, a lot of intriguing games. Cowboys, Browns, Texans and Colts, obviously. Then you got Lions and Rams. Yeah. What games on this week 1 schedule are you guys gonna be, watching at this point and locked into?
First one for me is gonna be that Titans and Bears, obviously. And then that Rams and Lions game is gonna be pretty good too. Those are probably gonna be my 2 must-watch games this weekend.
Jets 49ers for Monday night's gonna be a big one. I mean, everybody's gonna watch that one, but
mine's Cleveland versus Dallas. A lot of people have Dallas at division and making the playoffs, but Cleveland, that defense always finds a way to completely confuse and make Dallas's offense look like it's complete chaos. So that's one that's gonna be fun to watch.
That Green Bay Philly game is gonna be good too.
Yeah. I'm intrigued by the Friday game for sure. I'll be definitely tuned in to that one. Hopefully we get a dub so I can enjoy it in peace and not have to think about the stress of the Chiefs.
All right, here
being 0-1.
I'll do it for you here, DG. I got Chiefs, Falcons, Titans, Houston, tie.
Tied for the Panthers and Saints. Crazy.
Yeah, I'll take the I'll take the Saints. Raiders, Browns. Oh, that's a nasty game right there too, man. Oh my gosh. I might have to take the Lions on that one.
Okay.
Green Bay, Arizona. Bengals.
It's a shocking
I got Miami, and I got the Giants. I got Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
I got Washington over Bucks.
Okay.
And then I got Jets.
I knew you were gonna do that.
Yeah, I got Jets.
Give me
What up?
Give me the Chiefs. Give me the Falcons. Give me the Bears, the Texans, Saints, Chargers. Give me Dallas. I think they split. I think Dallas takes the first one. Give me Dallas. Give me the Lions, Eagles, Bills. Give me the Bengals. This is gonna be my upset. I'm taking Jacksonville over Miami. Give me Minnesota. Give me Seattle, Tampa, San Francisco.
Okay. Yeah. What about you, Ethan?
You a commander, Corey.
Let me go Chiefs, Falcons, Bears, Colts. Yeah, that game's disgusting. Saints. Go Raiders, Cowboys, Rams, Eagles, Bills, Bengals, Miami. That's another disgusting. It's funny they put those two side by side there.
I know, right? I was just thinking that.
Yeah, probably Vikings. Maybe we'll see. I don't know who's playing quarterback for the Vikings this year.
Sam Darnold, brother.
That's right. Broncos.
What?
Yeah, Broncos.
You think Bo Nix is going to go into Seattle in his first game in the NFL, and he's going to beat Seattle?
Yeah, Seattle has a lot of questions.
Big Bo.
That's a bold one.
Washington, and then
yeah, got a boy.
Yeah.
I won't pick all the games. I'll just give my upset. Patriots beat the Bengals week 1.
I wanted to go that because the Bengals start off slow. So I feel it.
I'm putting that juju out there. It might not happen, but I would love to see it.
I mean,
the crashing out.
Is Burrow going to throw 4 interceptions that game?
The crashing out of them losing to Jacoby Brissett, I would love it. It would be
Burrow's
grade A cinema for me.
I will be in every Bengal space listening to the chaos.
Has Pat ever thrown under 100 yards?
You said what?
Has Pat ever thrown under 100 yards?
Pat?
Yeah.
No,
I don't think so.
Yeah. Burrow, you suck.
All right.
You talking about that Cleveland game last year?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Under 100 yards.
Right. All right, man. We're up against time here. We appreciate everybody for tapping in, listening to us, whether you listen to us on Spotify, Apple, wherever you find your podcast. This has been the Arrowhead PM podcast. Week 1 is upon us, man. We'll be on the field tomorrow, 7:20 kickoff. Chiefs and Ravens, man, get started tomorrow, man.
Banner night.
No looking back. Banner night,
From here on out, it's film review from our channel. So you're going to get a bunch of film review on the team we're playing and our team. And then we're going to highlight all the players, and we're going to highlight all the things that we think that each team's going to have over top each other. So from here on out, film review.
Also, tomorrow we'll have Dominic's picks coming up on the channel as well. He wanted to drop his predictions. So go check that out on the YouTube channel tomorrow morning. We'll have those out for you. Yeah, man. Be on the lookout after the game. Arrowhead PM will be hosting the post-game Twitter space. on the Twitter sphere over there. So go check us out on there. Come in, talk to us. Hopefully it's after a win and not a loss. Hopefully we won't have to play therapy tomorrow night. But with that being said, man, for DG, for Ross, for Corey, Ethan, we love you guys. Appreciate you guys for being with us tonight. It's been Arrowhead PM, and we are out.
I put it all on my shoulders. Give 100 till it's over. I told you.